Okay, we're going to go over some of the components of an animal cell. So let's start with the outside boundary of the cell. That is called the plasma membrane. The plasma membrane is a double layer of a type of lipid that is called a phospholipid. It regulates material that goes into and out of the cell, and the plasma membrane allows cells to communicate with one another. Inside the plasma membrane, there's a fluid substance called the cytoplasm. This is where all of the molecules and all of the organelles are located. Next, we're going to look at ribosomes. As you can see, they're very small substances. They are composed of a substance called RNA, which is actually pretty similar to DNA, and they have an important job, which is to synthesize protein. Okay, next we're going to look at our actual organelles. So first of all, we're going to look at the nucleus. So in this picture, it's this big blue blob in the middle here, and they've actually cut part of it out so you can look inside. So the nucleus in eukaryotic cells contains DNA. In the nucleus, the DNA is packaged into chromosomes. So the DNA gets wound tightly around proteins into what we call chromosomes. The nucleus is surrounded by a membrane called the nuclear envelope. The nuclear envelope is actually pretty similar in structure to the plasma membrane. The nucleus also contains the nucleolus, which is a section of the nucleus where ribosomes are made. So the ribosome that we looked at earlier was floating out here in the cytoplasm. So what happens is the ribosomes get made in the nucleus, and they actually travel out of it through these little pores called nuclear pores into the rest of the cell. Okay, the next structure, which is really the next largest down from the nucleus, is the endoplasmic reticulum, sometimes called ER. And there's two types of endoplasmic reticulum. So there's rough endoplasmic reticulum and there's smooth endoplasmic reticulum. They are both composed of long membranous sacs, and they both allow molecules to move around the cell. The main difference between them is that the rough endoplasmic reticulum contains ribosomes. So they're actually studied here on the outside of the endoplasmic reticulum, and that's what makes it essentially rough. And so these ribosomes that are on the outside of the endoplasmic reticulum are making proteins. And then you can see there are still some ribosomes that are floating out here in the cytoplasm. So they're not all on this rough endoplasmic reticulum. And then the other type was smooth. So smooth is over here, and this type of endoplasmic reticulum does not have ribosomes on it. And it is important in lipid synthesis. Okay, and then I don't think there are any on here, but vesicles can actually bud off of this endoplasmic reticulum. Oh, here's some over here, and they can travel around the cell. Okay, next we've got the Golgi apparatus. So when vesicles bud off of the endoplasmic reticulum, often they will travel to this structure called the Golgi apparatus. And this is again long sacs of membranes, although it's a little smaller than the endoplasmic reticulum. And the Golgi apparatus is responsible for final processing of molecules like proteins. And once that's done, vesicles then bud off again and can travel in or maybe even outside of the cell. All right, so I've been using the word vesicles, so let's make sure we know what those are. They're just little membrane-bound sacs that travel around the cell that temporarily transport substances. Okay, next we've got the mitochondria. And the mitochondria have a double membrane. And you can see the inner membrane here has lots of folds in it. And the mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell. So they're actually responsible for generating energy in the form of something called ATP. Okay, we also have lysosomes. So lysosomes break down bacteria, cellular debris, and nutrients. We also have centrioles. Centrioles are going to be important during cell division. And then we also have some things on here called microfilaments and microtubules. These are going to be important in cell division also, but they also hold things in place within the cell. They're long strands of proteins, and they can give the cell its shape. So the different cells in your body all have different functions and they have different shapes, and the microtubules and microfilaments help to give the cells the shape. Okay, I think that's it.